Hi, this is Gideon Fidelzeid, Managing Editor of PRWeek magazine. I am very, very honored to be joined by Jenny Moede, the North American Region President for Waggener Edstrom Worldwide, who's joined us all the way from Portland, Oregon today. Jenny, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks. It's good to be here.
It's great to have you. So there's a lot of exciting things going on with Waggener Edstrom these days, and the name Microsoft might ring a bell with a few people. Windows 8 is coming out, and there's also some big news on the personnel front, where former CEO of Burson Marsteller, Mark Penn, has joined Microsoft's staff in a prominent position. I'd like for you to talk a little bit about, about some of your thoughts about what Mark is bringing to the table with Microsoft, which again, obviously, Waggener Edstrom is Microsoft's biggest agency, PR agency. So, and a little bit about Windows 8, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. So I think, like many other companies today, Microsoft is looking to enhance its understanding of the consumer audience and bring insights to the table about their various consumer constituencies. It's very important for Microsoft, and obviously the Windows 8 launch underscores that, and the Surface launch. So I believe the intent in hiring Mark is to really shore up that expertise and to be able to tap and really look into the very many layers of the consumer and customer audience for Microsoft and have more understanding of it on a daily basis. And as I understand it, Mark is focusing primarily on emerging brands within the Microsoft portfolio with the consumer flavor. And we do work with them. We have a long-standing, fantastic partnership with Microsoft. So he's yet another client that we work with.
Terrific. Now, while everyone associates Waggener Edstrom with Microsoft and the tech world, I know healthcare is something that's near and dear to your heart. If I'm not mistaken, in 2001, you actually started the healthcare practice at Waggener Edstrom. Healthcare is a big issue right now. As we're sitting here today, it's 13 days till election. The Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare as people call it, which the president seems happy with, it's a big issue.
Yeah.
And what I would like for you to talk about is some of the challenges and opportunities that are going on in healthcare communications right now, which quite frankly will exist regardless of who wins the White House.
That's right, and that's what I was going to say, that the issues inherent in the Affordable Care Act were relevant to our clients before the election and frankly before the Affordable Health Care Act. So access to medical care, affordable care, access to medicines, safety of medicines obviously is a huge issue right now, especially with the pharmaceutical issues and meningitis cases that are going on. So those are all issues that are front and center for our clients, regardless of what portion of the healthcare industry they're in. And we certainly work with pharmaceutical companies, biotech, clinical care, and medical device companies. So they all have a huge stake in these issues, and certainly those issues are filtered through the Affordable Care Act and currently through the election. So I think you're right that this will be an issue and this will be a topic of conversation for years, regardless of whether it's the Affordable Care Act or some alternative to that. And it's something that we work with our clients on constantly as we introduce new products and we talk about the R&D cycle and we talk about things like intellectual property and innovation within that industry and the cost of innovation.
Can you talk a little bit more about that intellectual property? That's not necessarily something you hear a lot about when you're talking about healthcare companies, or maybe you hear about it, but it's not something that's focused on so much. Can you elaborate a little bit more about that?
Sure, and it's an issue that Waggener actually knows a lot about. We certainly have worked on IP issues in the tech industry for years. And the same issues exist within healthcare. It takes a lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of staff to actually bring a drug or a medical device to market. And so having protection of the intellectual property associated with that medicine or device is critical. And being able to basically get back some of the resources they've plugged into R&D is critical as well. So particularly in the biologics area, which is the opposite of chemical entities, so a generic would be a chemical entity. Our clients are very focused on the amount of time and effort it takes to develop a biologic. There's a lot of effort afoot to potentially minimize the patent protection for biologics and allow for generics essentially in that space. And that's something our team has to deal with all the time because safety comes into play there. As you've seen, it's easy to mix up a batch of chemicals. It's a lot harder to grow something that's a biologic treatment. That's a lot of what you see in the transformative care area.
Very, very interesting. Another interesting thing is the new role that you have at Waggener Edstrom, new title anyway. In late July, you became president of the North America region. And I'd be curious to hear a little bit about your thoughts about, what you're hoping to accomplish in the next, say, 12 to 18 months in that role, or just where you see things at the agency going in the next 18 months.
Well, like you talked about, we have traditionally been a tech agency, but really the core of Waggener Edstrom is innovation and helping clients bring innovations with impact to the market. So that spans across a lot of different industries. Certainly healthcare is another. Consumer electronics, we talk about social innovation, which is a really, really growing and exciting area for Waggener, and that's under my remit. So when I took the job, obviously growth is a huge issue and a huge goal of mine, and being able to diversify across a number of different sectors. We're really working with some energy companies. That's an area we want to get into more and more. I just hired a public affairs lead in DC, Ben Finzel, who's got deep energy credentials.
Okay.
So for me, it's about finding the right staff, the right expertise, the skill set, and then mixing them in a way that really creates a dynamic and transformative result for the company and for our clients. And that's one thing, one of the actions I've taken since July is to create a brand strategy and marketing practice, which does that. It takes social, creative, digital content, integrated marketing and comms, blends it all together under the brand umbrella, which is something that we're seeing our clients ask for a lot. And a lot of the RFPs these days talk about brand renovation, companies that aren't comfortable with the way their brands are being expressed in the market right now.
Wow. So yeah, I like the term that we used before. You're among many hats, a talent mixologist.
That's right.
Which seems to be something that it's kind of a growing need within the PR industry. Positions like yours, so it's really interesting to hear about. Jenny, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time. Thanks.